The room glows with pride and noise. Balloons sway. Music hums low. Hands clap. Cameras flash. I breathe deep, tasting relief after years of sacrifice. Then my father steps closer than necessary, smiling too calmly, fingers steady, wrist practiced. I see the powder fall, pale against the glass, disappearing instantly. My chest tightens, but my face does not change. I stand, lift my glass, and smile wider. Applause grows. No one suspects clarity. In that second, I understand the truth of family power. Survival sometimes wears politeness. Wisdom chooses timing. I raise my voice, thank everyone, and step into a moment that quietly saves my life, standing tall as I decide this celebration will not claim me tonight or ever again. The applause hits too early and too loud. It rolls across the room before the words finish landing. Faces stretch into smiles that arrive seconds before meaning. I scan the crowd and recognize performance over pride. My name echoes, repeated like a cue. My sister's eyes stay locked on me, measuring my reaction. My father looks everywhere except my direction. Plates clink. Laughter skips beats. Someone wipes their hands nervously on a napkin. I feel the weight of history in that sound. Some families celebrate achievement only when they believe it belongs to them. The clapping tells me everything. They are not honoring the moment. They are rushing to contain it. And I finally see how control disguises itself as tradition, approval, and inherited authority. I lift the glass slowly, letting the room lean forward with expectation. My arm feels steady. My breathing stays measured. I could stop everything with one sentence. I could expose the act and fracture the evening. Instead, I listen to something older inside me, something patient. I turn slightly and redirect the moment. I speak of gratitude, of family, of shared journeys. I extend the glass away from myself. The room relaxes. People nod. They think the danger passed. They do not realize a lesson is unfolding. Power does not always announce itself. Sometimes it simply chooses where not to stand. By offering the toast elsewhere, I return what was given. Silence becomes my shield. Restraint becomes my answer. And the room never notices when control quietly leaves my hands. My sister laughs easily and raises the glass. Her confidence fills the space. She drinks without hesitation, still smiling, still certain. A wave of relief moves through the guests. Shoulders drop. Conversations restart. Music rises again. The moment seems resolved. My father stiffens just enough for me to notice. His jaw sets. His eyes sharpen. He understands immediately what has happened. The script has changed. The authority he relied on no longer belongs to him. Nothing dramatic occurs. No voices rise. No accusations fly. But something irreversible settles into the room. Power does not need witnesses to move. It only needs recognition. As I sit quietly, watching expressions shift, I understand that dominance fades fastest when exposed to its own reflection. The evening continues, but nothing remains where it once stood. Minutes pass unevenly. Conversations thin. A chair scrapes back suddenly. Someone asks for water. Another person suggests fresh air. Concern spreads in fragments, unspoken but visible. I remain seated, hands folded, posture calm. My pulse slows while others grow restless. No alarm sound. No accusations are made. The truth moves quietly, like gravity, pulling reactions into place. Faces search for explanations they cannot ask aloud. I watch without satisfaction or fear. This was never about revenge or harm. It was about seeing clearly. Intentions reveal themselves when pressure arrives. I understand now that composure unsettles more than anger ever could. The room begins reorganizing around an unspoken reality. People sense something wrong but cannot name it. And that uncertainty becomes the loudest voice present, rewriting everything without needing permission. That night taught me lessons no ceremony could provide. Blood does not promise protection. History does not guarantee safety. Loyalty is often tested when success disrupts familiar roles. I saw how comfort with control can outweigh love. I also learned the value of distance. Stepping back allowed truth to stand alone, unprotected by excuses. Wisdom is not always confrontation. Sometimes it is observation. Sometimes it is restraint. I understood that family bonds can carry expectations heavy enough to endanger growth. Recognizing that truth did not harden me. It steadied me. I stopped seeking approval where respect was conditional. Survival is not betrayal. It is clarity earned. From that moment forward, I measured loyalty by actions, not titles. And I learned that self-preservation, when guided by principle, is not selfish. It is necessary, especially when silence reveals more than argument ever could. We never discussed that night. Words were unnecessary. He stopped correcting my choices. He stopped offering guidance disguised as instruction. Conversations shortened. Advice disappeared. The authority he once carried no longer reached me. I noticed it in small ways. He waited for my decisions instead of announcing his own. He observed rather than directed. Exposure had changed the balance without confrontation. Leadership built on secrecy collapses quietly. I did not celebrate the shift. I accepted it. Respect returned to its proper place. Not demanded. Not negotiated. Simply earned through awareness. I learned that power cannot survive once its methods are understood. Silence stripped it of mystery. Time did the rest. Our relationship changed shape, not with anger, but with distance and clarity. And in that space, I finally stood as myself, no longer cast inside someone else's design. When I see the photos now, I notice details others miss. My posture, my calm expression, the steadiness in my eyes. That smile holds more than pride. It carries understanding. I graduated twice that evening. Once from an institution. Once from believing love arrives without conditions. I left behind the need for approval tied to obedience. The celebration marked more than achievement. It marked awareness. I learned that dignity is not loud. It is consistent. It survives discomfort. It chooses timing. That night reshaped how I define success, family, and safety. I walked away with a degree, yes. But more importantly, I walked away with myself intact. And that is why the smile remains. Not because everything was perfect, but because I recognized the moment that saved me, and I honored it.